Hey, hey, hey. Let's get started. We'll find a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you today. Namaste. Namaste. So if you're sitting in a seat with arms, with seat arms in the back, you might want to just lean back and allow your weight to settle into all the points, the back of the chair, the seat of the chair, arms of the chair. Or maybe you want to sit a little further forward and just try to have your shoulders right over your hips. I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes. And I'm going to ask you to bring the backs of your hands to rest on your knees, on your thighs. This simple gesture here is a sign of surrender. It's also a sign that you are ready to receive. So as you surrender, as you let go of what was, you allow what's for you to find you. You're able to receive the blessings that are there for you today, and you're able to learn the lessons that are there for you to learn today. So check in that the heart space is wide open, receptive to what this glorious day has in store for you. And with your eyes closed, let's start to scan the physical form for tension. Start at the crown of the head, your forehead, between the eyebrows, your cheeks, your lips, your tongue, your jaw, your neck, your shoulders. Maybe you'll feel the arms sort of dangling out of the shoulder girdle, your chest, your abdomen, softening your hip creases, and maybe you'll find a little more ease in the hips, and your feet might settle with more conviction into Mother Earth. So settle more weight into the points of the body that are in contact with whatever is anchoring you to the physical world. Ujjayi breathing is something you're exploring. I'll encourage you to turn on your Ujjayi breathing now. So while breathing in and out through the nose, your lips are gently pressed together. You're producing a swirling sound in the back of your slightly restricted throat. To me, it sounds like you're snoring while breathing in and out through the nose. In any event, whether you've added the Ujjayi breathing or not, just notice how the chest rises and falls with each cycle of breath, and how the tummy expands and contracts with each cycle of breath. And allow these actions, this awareness of the breath leaving and entering the body to lull you into a place of peace, calm, and acceptance. So last time I shared with you this quote that says, change is inevitable, growth is optional. But the next layer, or to add to that, would be the awareness that change happens at the end of your comfort zone. And I encourage practitioners to do, particularly those that have the asana practice, but certainly as you're meditating as well, as things come up, try to receive the information, extract the lesson, and let any sort of negative energy, any fear, any anger, any sort of emotional response other than joy, just spill by the wayside. Even in the midst of a storm, can you surrender? Can you trust that you're taken care of? Do you believe that on the other side, there is more clarity? Your purpose may become further crystallized. The only way to go through it, to get to the other side, is to go through it. There are no detours. So surrender to what is, let go of what was, and welcome what's to come. And whenever you're in the cycle of breath, I'll encourage you to exhale now. Deep breath in through the nose, and exhale, open up your mouth, let it go on us. Again, inhale, nice and deep. And let it go. One more deep breath in. And exhale, let it go. Return to your normal breathing pattern. Let's find your Anjali Mudra. Bring the thumbs to press into the heart space again. And you're still sitting up nice and tall. Take a moment to set an intention for your practice. You may choose to dedicate your efforts to someone in particular, to a group of people, or maybe you'll just send a little bit of extra love out into the universe. We'll breathe in together for one round of Om. Deep breath in. Om. Om. Great. It's time. Bring your palms to rest on your knees. And if you're sitting way back in your chair, maybe you'll scoot your sitting bones more towards the front edge of the chair. Make sure your feet are firmly planted onto the floor. You can absolutely take off your shoes, maybe even take off your socks if you're so inclined. And just let your chin settle towards your chest. And then look up at the ceiling. And into your chest. Look up at the ceiling. Chin into your chest. Look up at the ceiling. Bring your neck back to neutral and just look over your right shoulder. Try to keep the shoulders still. And then look over your left shoulder. Look over your right shoulder and your left shoulder. One more time to the right and again to the left. Bring your neck back to neutral again. Let your chin settle towards your chest. This time, let your right ear roll over towards your right shoulder. Bring your right hand to rest on the left side of your face. And then just let the left arm slide along the side body. So the fingertips are dripping towards the mat. And I'm going to ask you to externally rotate that left arm as much as you can. Keep hugging your shoulder blade down towards your left hip as you pull your right ear closer to the right shoulder. Let that go. Turn the release the external rotation on the left side. Release the right arm by your side, and again, let the chin settle towards your chest. Bring your palms to rest on your knees, and then press your palms into your thighs, I guess, and then start to lengthen the spine. You're going to look up. Maybe slide your fingertips over the front of your knees. Start to pull your heart forward and up. You can feel the ribs, I guess, moving forward and the shoulder blades lifting your heart up to the ceiling. Bring your spine back to neutral. Again, let your chin settle towards your chest. Let your left ear roll over towards your left shoulder. This time, the left hand comes to rest on the right side of your face. Release the right arm along your side body. There's energy moving through the tips of the right fingers, and now we're going to add the external rotation of that right arm. Just rotate, 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 rotate externally, so your thumb is pointing to the wall behind you. You're pulling your left ear towards your left shoulder, and you're hugging your right shoulder towards your right hip, possibly generating some more sensations on the right side of your neck. And then release the external rotation of the right arm. Release the left arm by the side body. And again, let your chin settle towards your chest. Adding on this time, take your hands to your thighs. Chin continues to settle towards your chest. And just allow your tummy to get as close to your thighs as possible. Your forehead, or your head, might end up between your thighs. Push your palms into your thighs, round your spine, chin stays tucked towards your chest, and you'll eventually make your way up to sit. Nice and tall, and we'll keep it moving. Let the ribs sort of jut forward, shoulder blades, lift the heart up to the ceiling, and we can add a little bit of a stretch here for the pec tissue. So you'll take your fingers and dig them, just take them to your collarbone and then dig them into the flesh, into the muscle underneath the collarbone. Start to drag your fingers towards your belly button. See if you can maybe lift the chin a little bit more to the ceiling. You might even slide the lower row of teeth in front of the upper teeth, so you're jutting the jaw forward. And you might feel more of a stretch in your throat and in that pec tissue. Great. You'll eventually come up to sit again nice and tall. Hands back to your knees or your thighs. Chin once again settles towards your chest. And this time, just let the fingertips crawl along your shins. Your fingertips might eventually come in contact with the floor, melting your way forward, hanging, letting the head hang, just dangling from the top of the spinal column. From here, I'm going to ask you to lift your sitting bones away from your chair. So you might need your hands for this, or maybe just use the muscles of your legs. And we're just going to melt, 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 torso towards thighs. I'm going to ask you to take hold of your elbows. Doesn't matter which arm is crossed over. We'll change it in a moment anyway. And depending on your range of motion, your knees might be bent a little bit or locked. Tug on the elbows, try to get your forearms closer to the mat, and then just start to gently sway your torso from side to side. You will change the crossing of your arms and continue to sway. Again, the knees can be however deeply bent you feel is appropriate in this moment. And we'll eventually come back to center. Fingertips might come back to the floor. Maybe they're on your knees or your shins or your feet. You're going to bring your sitting bones back down to the seat. And then just look forward, maybe even look up at the ceiling. And then as you exhale, let the tummy melt between the thighs, let the head get heavy. And again, lift your sitting bones away from your chair. And we'll do it again. Bring your sitting bones back to the seat. Fingertips might be on the floor, maybe they're on your knees or shins. And let the shoulder blades move your heart forward. You might look up at the ceiling. And again, melt the ribs closer to your thighs. You'll eventually sit up nice and start stand, lengthening behind the knees as much as appropriate for you. And release your sitting bones back to the seat. And again, we're going to lengthen. Look forward, maybe even look up. So I'm going to add on to this. We're going to melt forward again, and I'm going to ask you not to stress about it. I'm just going to give you some options. I'll turn sideways here. So while folded forward, you're going to bend your knees, and see what happens. You're going to take hold of your wrists behind your knees or behind your thighs, or take hold of your elbow. See if you can maybe get your feet hips width apart. You can even bring them a little bit closer if that's okay for you. You're going to bend your knees, try to get your tummy to stay in contact with your thighs, and look forward as you sink your sitting bones towards your floor. And now try to keep your tummy in contact with your thighs as you now lengthen behind the knees. Your forehead might come in contact with your knees or your shins. And we'll do that again. Bend your knees. Looking forward, sink the hips low. And then again, lengthen as much as you can. The knees might stay bent here quite a bit. Maybe you're able to fully extend, and maybe you're able to get your forehead to come in contact with your shins. Try to keep the weight on the balls of your feet. Spread the toes out wide. We're going to bend the knees again. Release the arms from behind your legs. Chin into your chest, and let's slowly roll up to stand. So hips are low, chin into chest, and you just stack one vertebra on top of the next. And when you make your way up to stand nice and tall, let's do 3 big old shoulder rolls to the back. So lift the shoulders up, squeeze them towards each other, soften them down the back, move the shoulders forward, lift them up. Back, down, forward, up, back, down, forward. Now in the other direction, move the shoulders, the tips of the shoulders forward, down, towards each other, and up, forward, down, together, up, forward, down, together, up. And as you exhale, just let the shoulder blades drop down the back. Take your right arm out to the side about shoulder height. And you're going to cross the right arm, move the right arm across your chest, rotate your palm to face back, take your left hand to the outside of your elbow or upper arm, and see if you can pull the right arm even closer to you. If that's enough, stay there. You could also take your left elbow, wrap it under so you can use your forearm and the elbow to pull the right arm in a little bit closer to you. Pull your right shoulder back a little bit. You might feel a little bit of a stretch in the shoulders. and your triceps. We're going to release that. Let the right arm float out to the side. Right arm's going to go up. Tuck your chin into your chest, and you'll either bring the right fingertips to your left shoulder blade or maybe in between your shoulder blades. This could be done seated, right? I'm just doing it standing. Press the back of the head against your upper arm. Try to get your right elbow to point straight up to the ceiling. You want to feel a lengthening on that right side. Take your left hand over to that right upper arm and then start to pull on that right upper arm. And you're just going to start to lean torso over to your left. Keep pressing your right big toe into the mat. If you're standing, if you're seated, stay grounded evenly into your sitting bones. And we're just melting over to the left side, pressing the right big toe into the mat. And let's come back to center. Float both arms high. And then just start to circle out the wrists in one direction, letting the arms float out to the side. And down. And then circle the wrists in the other direction. Arms will float high. And then the arms will go back to the side. You're going to keep the left arm to the side, bring the right arm along your side body, and that left arm starts to cross your chest. You're going to rotate the palm to face the back wall, and then your right hand will grab maybe the left elbow or the upper arm. See if you can pull the arm in closer to you. Try not to twist though. So you want to keep your hips and your shoulders, for all intents and purposes, squared off to the wall that's right in front of you. You could always take that right elbow, wrap it under, so that forearm, right forearm, you can use it to pull the left arm closer to you. Keep breathing. Again, if you're standing, feel the energy moving through the arches of your feet, traveling through the inseams of your thighs, so you're standing on strong legs. A sturdy foundation. Let go of that left arm. Arm's going to float overhead. You tuck your chin into your chest and you'll bring the left fingertips maybe in between the shoulder blades or over to your right shoulder blade. Your right hand will go over, grab that left upper arm, maybe pull it behind your head some more. You'll eventually press the back of the head against the upper arm. Lengthen out of the side body, right? So as opposed to kind of rounding through the thoracic spine, find as much length as you can for that left elbow, endeavoring to touch your ceiling. And then lengthen a little bit more, and as you exhale, start to pull and lean torso over to the right. Doesn't have to be a huge move. It's about sensations, right? So in time, you might be able to pull and lean a little bit further to the right. Keep pressing your left big toe into the mat or to the floor if you're standing. If you're seated, you still want to ground, root down into your feet and into your sitting bones and just focus on trying to get some more sensations in the left side body, left side of your torso, rib cage, shoulder, triceps, all of that. And you'll eventually come back to neutral. You're going to float both arms high. Lift the shoulders up by your ears. And as you exhale, soften the shoulder blades down the back. Release the arms by your side. Bend your knees and just let one vertebra fall away from the neck, slowly melting your way down. If you're seated, you're just melting your torso towards your thighs. And if you're still standing, just move to your seat, have a seat, and then we'll all make our way up to sit, nice and tall. You're going to extend your right leg forward. And we're just going to engage those quadriceps. So we want to get the leg as long as possible. Push through the heel, curl the toes back towards your shin. You can sit back or you're sitting forward in your chair. Point the toes, flex the foot, Point the toes. Flex the foot. Point the toes. Flex the foot. Start to circle that right ankle out in one direction. And then circle it in the other direction and take your time. Then we'll switch that. Step your right foot down. Extend that left leg as long as possible. Engaging the quadriceps might allow you to get a little more length. Curl your toes back towards your shin. Really push to that left heel. And then point your toes. And then curl the toes back. Flex your foot. Push to the heel. Again, push through the ball of the foot. Spread those toes out wide. Point. Curling back. Flex. Point. Flex. And let's start to circle the ankle out a few times in one direction. Doesn't matter which direction you start, because we'll do both directions. And then you'll circle in the other direction. And go ahead, step your foot flat on the mat. So we're gonna bring the right ankle to your left thigh, left knee. Let the thighs spill out to the side. I'm gonna suggest that you're sitting forward in your seat here. Take your right palm and just press the right thigh down. Sitting up tall, keep pressing down and now press your right thigh up into your hand and hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're gonna let that go. Take your left hand, push it down into your right thigh, bring the right arm close to the side of your face, and then just start to lean over again. Lean over to your left and let the right shoulder get closer to your ear. And come back to center. That knee, you're just gonna let it slide all the way over, and maybe your right ankle presses to the outside of your left leg somewhere. If that's too much, then uncross your legs, have the knees together. We're just gonna take a twist here. So the feet can be together, feet and knees together, or legs are crossed. Take your left hand to the outside of your right knee, and then your right hand will go maybe to the side of your chair, or maybe to the back of the chair, and just take a twist. And come back to center. Then uncross if the legs are crossed. Otherwise, just separate your feet so they're about hips width apart. And we'll go right to the other side. You're going to take that left ankle to your right thigh. You want to sit up tall. Take your left palm, press it down into your left thigh. So you might feel the hip opening up a little bit more. You're going to continue to press down, but now activate your adductors and press your thigh up into your hand. Sitting up tall, hold it here for 5. Add a smile. 4, keep breathing. 3, pressing. 2, 1. We're going to release that. Take your right hand to your left thigh. Bring the left arm close to the side of your head. And then start to lean over to your right. And again, it doesn't matter how far you lean over, it's about sensations. So maybe that left shoulder can get closer to the ear. Maybe you can press the left thigh down some more. Maybe you'll find more of a side stretch. And come back to center. And again, we got two options. You can bring the feet together, knees together, or just let that left thigh slide over the right. Maybe you can press your ankle to the outside of your right knee. We're going to take a twist. Right hand somewhere on the outside of your left thigh. Left hand maybe goes to the arm of the chair, or maybe to the back of the chair, or even to the seat behind you. Totally up to you. Take your twist, you look over your left shoulder. Great. Start to come out of this. You will, again, step your feet flat on the mat if they're not already there. Just lift the heels up and down, heels up and down. Shake your head out gently like a bobblehead doll. You shake your arms out. Take your right leg out. Shake your left leg out. And let it, whatever that was, let it go. You don't need it anymore. It's in the past. Now, maybe you sit all the way back in your seat, or you stay forward. We'll come back to palms facing up. Welcome change. After all, it's inevitable. Try to find, again, the calm in the midst of the storm. Tap into the joy that is present in every moment. Knowing that in order to change, to grow, you have to move through some patches that are not quite comfortable. But on the other side is a shinier expression of self. There's another page of testimony, another reason to celebrate. As always, I encourage you to take your yoga with you. Allow it to arm you as you navigate your way through your moment-to-moment existence. Try to remain less reactive, stay in your place of peace, always letting your light shine. Let's bring the hands to heart center. One round of Om, sealing our time together today. Deep breath in. Um, Bowing forward. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. Great work, people. Way to play, way to play. You're all amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. Have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you again very